welcome to another episode of Thirsty Thursday, brought to you by Man Cave Meals. Today we're going to have a look at a beer that's on the very opposite end of the spectrum of most of the stuff we've looked at so far. We've been looking at lighter colored beers mostly, lower alcohol content beers, but today we're going to look at what's called an Imperial Stout. And this is Sierra Nevada's Narwhal Imperial Stout, and it's a very big beer, so let's get it in the glass and have a look. Stouts and Imperial Stouts are beers that are characterized by their body, which is a heavier body, their dark color, and their typically higher alcohol content, especially with the Imperial Stouts. This offering from Sierra Nevada rings in at 10.2% alcohol, so it's roughly twice the alcohol level of your average beer. And this beer pours with a very dark coffee-like or motor oil dark color, and it has a very foamy tan or chocolatey covered head. Let's have a sniff. Yes, this beer is made with the darker color comes from malts that have been kilned and roasted. This particular beer has what's called chocolate malt and roasted barley. Both of those are very, very dark malts. The darker malts produce a richer body because less of the sugars that come from those malts are fermentable, so it leaves back the characteristics of a big body. So let's have a taste of this. Wow, this is my first time tasting this beer, so we're getting to enjoy this one for the first time together. So this beer has a very velvety mouthfeel to it, and it has a very pronounced taste. It's a higher bitterness. It's got notes of coffee, cocoa, and it's actually got a little bit of a smoke flavor to it. It may have some smoked malts in there as well. I didn't look at the malt list for this beer, but it's very rich. This is a beer that I like to call a meal in a glass. It's a very, very heavy beer, so it's not one of the beers that you would typically sit down and drink over the course of an afternoon. This is more of a dessert beer. It's an excellent after dinner beer. It would pair well with typical desserts and sweet desserts like a cheesecake, for instance, or even ice cream in the greater scheme of things. But this type of beer I typically drink during the cooler and cold weather months. It's not something I mess with a whole lot during the summertime. It's really an amazing flavor. It's called Narwhal, and it's the Imperial Stout by Sierra Nevada, and I do believe that this is a seasonal from Sierra Nevada, or a limited run. It's not one that's available all the time, but once again, with Sierra Nevada being as large as they are, this beer ought to be easy to find. If you want to try a good example of an Imperial Stout, this might be a good place to start. There are quite a few others out there. If you have a specialty beer shop in your area, or a specialty beer and wine shop, go look for an Imperial Stout sometime and get a single bottle of it and give it a try and see what you think. Until next time, Thirsty Thursday from Man Cave Meals.